Hi, everybody. Thank you for your time and for joining us this evening. We really appreciate it. We at MBA are always happy to support and elevate small business, and we're happy to have partners like our partner, Lizbeth DeBroy from US Bank, who speaks on many different topics, but today she's going to speak on organizing your time. We'll put some notes in the chat as we go along. If you guys want to put your questions in there, and we'll answer them towards the end, please feel free. And we'll also be adding some other links for you guys to check out as well. But thank you so much, Liz, for joining us. Please, the floor is all yours.
Awesome. Thank you and good evening to join us today. I will be providing some tips and tricks that you may already be utilizing as a business owner. Some of them might just be a refresher and a reminder to ensure that you're putting yourself first. In order to run a successful business, you need to be a successful or happy business owner. So my name is Lizbeth DeBroy. As Diana mentioned, I am the business access advisor and I cover the Los Angeles market. Primarily in my role, what I focus on a daily basis is supporting business owners on a one-on-one connection with getting them access to different resources. So, if you're just seeking general information on how to be more successful as a business owner, I work with a lot of organizations like the Multicultural Business Alliance that support business owners with providing different types of technical assistance and just assisting you with every step of the way with your small business. The most important is I do also assist with getting access to capital. So if you are a business owner and you're seeking capital, it doesn't necessarily have to be, getting lending through US Bank or one of our traditional banks. I have the ability to also speak and refer you over to our community development financial institution. So I help with identifying which one would be the best partner for you to support you with getting that access to the capital that you need in order to grow and thrive. We can go ahead and continue. We recently launched at US Bank our Business Resource Central. You don't have to be a customer of ours to take advantage of this. I do highly encourage, if you are a business owner, to scan the QR code and check out our site. These are trainings that are available. They're courses that are available to you. And they're around different topics like financial advisory, growth strategy, and procurement opportunities, how to secure a contract. I know Olympics are coming up in 2028, and this is a hot topic for a lot of business owners. So if you just want to take a training on that, the trainings are about 20 to 30 minutes long. You are in control, so you can definitely, sign off when you feel you need to, or log back in and take on from where you left off. Safeguards, marketing and advertising operations and technology. Today, and I also host different financial literacy workshops that may be around these similar topics. But today, like I said, we'll be discussing organizing your time. So we can go ahead and kick off our agenda. So we're going to discuss setting goals and milestones as a business owner, some time management tools that you can utilize, and how to effectively use technology to your favor with and to support the organizing your time as a business owner. So we can go ahead and kick it off to setting goals and milestones and tracking your progress. So first and foremost, understand your values as a business owner. You need to first determine what is it that you personally value? And this is going to help you achieve the goals that you need to get there. So maybe, and some of the examples can include, maybe you want to be spend more time working on your business instead of being, that person that's constantly in the business, running the show, taking orders and giving orders at the same time. Maybe you want to be a little bit more behind the scenes and just delegate tasks to your employees. Maybe it's, you recently became a business owner and you realize that a lot of your time is being invested strictly on your business and you're losing that, focus on family and friends or social life even, and you're noticing it impacting and taking a toll on you. Or maybe at this point, you're in that growth stage where business is getting handled. You've hired the right employees, you've managed the responsibilities well, or you can start taking a little bit of a step back and now marketing your business out in the community. And maybe that can be one of the focuses that you want to determine that's a value to you. So think about that as we're going through this workshop, and we can write it down, set that as a goal or milestone for you as a business owner. And so setting long-term goals, I'm sorry. So I'm sure we've all heard of the acronym SMART. But really what that means is make sure that your vision is specific, that you can measure it, that it's attainable. So, you want to make sure that it's a realistic goal for your business, and for yourself as well. And that there is a time frame of when you would like to accomplish it, and it makes sense for you. So establishing milestones along the way. So a milestone is a measurable and important accomplishment necessary to achieve a goal. You're going to want to adjust your tactics if you're not meeting your milestone. So say, for instance, for me, it could be, spending more time with my family. I've been investing a lot of time in my small business, and my milestone is to, at 6 p.m., close up shop, or depend on my employees to close up shop, and have that trust in them. And then maybe from 6 to 7, I'm going to make it a point to ensure that I'm home for dinner and I spend time with my family from 6 to 7. And, maybe because I'm just getting started, from 7 to 9, I'll, do a little bit more of the admin work for my business, right? And say, for instance, I'm doing that. I'm closing up shop. I'm leaving my business at 6 p.m., but dinner's still not happening with my family. I'm coming home and still, doing the admin tasks for my business. Then that's where I need to adjust. Okay, is 6 to 7 a realistic time? Maybe do I need to shift that to a later time? Or maybe I get home, have my admin time, and then do with dinner with my family after that. And then revisit and revise expectations as necessary. So it's always good to see, later on in maybe a week, revise and revisit, see if it's working. Am I getting things done for my business? And am I starting to feel like, okay, family time is happening more often now, and I'm starting to feel that workload kind of lifted off my shoulders. So it's also always good to set a periodic review of your milestones and progress on your calendar. So I just talked about, maybe in a week, right? Doing a checkpoint with yourself and seeing, okay, is this working out for me? Whatever that goal is. And if it is, things are working out, then maybe I can extend that, revisit for a month and then change tactics as I'm going. This doesn't have to be, spending time with your family. It could be anything that you choose your milestone to be. So some time management tools, and behaviors to maximize your time. We talk about, and a lot of this it's just a refresher, right? So it's terms of time management skills is setting aside your priorities. So as a business owner, and be very specific as to what are your priorities. Are you scheduling a time block? So, in my role, we're very focused in ensuring, it's like I like to think of myself as running my own business. I'm running a small financial institution, right? It could be either like within my customers. When I used to be a branch manager, I was running that branch location. So I had to ensure that there was tasks that were being completed. And a lot of those are admin tasks. And as a business owner, you have, maybe it's, submitting payroll or having conversations with your employees and checkpoints and coaching and training. But you have, sometimes you wake up in the morning and you're like, I want to accomplish a list of these things, but you don't time block yourself. And we may think, oh, that's not necessary, I'll get to it when time permits. But if you begin on your calendar to block yourself, it could look like an hour, it could be 5 hours once a week. It could be a whole entire day. but ensure that you're actually writing that time in your calendar and list the activities that you are going to focus on. And that could be whether it's on your Outlook calendar, it could be on a written agenda. And it's good to follow up and check mark. Okay, I said I was going to take care of this. I took care of it and cross it off my list. Once you start doing that and you start to get a visual and see what you're actually accomplishing with ensuring that you're blocking out your time, you're going to start to notice, okay, at least I was effective with that time block and I'm getting things done. Set boundaries. So when we discuss, blocking out your time as a business owner, and that's your protected time. So if maybe an employee calls out and you need to step it up, and maybe at some, if you can rely on another employee to take on the workload, do it. Set boundaries for yourself to ensure that, okay, what is my priority? What needs to be handled? And should I empower one of my employees to help and support me with getting or handling the business? Also, writing things down, maybe delegate to an employee. And by delegating that to an employee, you also have to start understanding that you're empowering them to learn new things and they start to feel more confident in their role. So if you have an employee that you've hired, and you see that maybe you could delegate a task to them and give them that responsibility and they start to feel motivated off of it, then that's an accomplishment that you're making as a business owner, but that's also eliminating a task on your end. So just strategize and start to think of maybe some tasks that they can handle. Maybe it's, working on the schedule, or maybe being there to open and greet your clients as they're walking in. That way you don't necessarily have to be there to open, or maybe it is to rely on them to close for the day. So some of the activities, so making sure that you're prioritizing those activities. So short term would be, the repetitive tasks, the quick actions. Long term, it's going to be your bigger projects, and then use your milestones to gauge progress as well. These are some methodologies that you can use. It's like the RICE, Moscow Impact Effort Matrix. There's different tools that are available to help you determine what priorities for your business are, or activities that you can start to emphasize, and it'll help you determine which ones are short term activities that you can work on, and or long term, and then you can start to identify what the bigger picture of the goal is. So we talked about time blocking and then dedicating your focus to accomplish your priorities. So, like I said, set a time strategy. It's utilizing a calendar. It could be as simple as, like I said, writing it down on an agenda. Allocate your most productive hours, and then don't get distracted. If this means locking yourself in your office at your business, shutting off your cell phones, and just focusing on the task. Or it could be going into a cafe and getting out of the business, right? Different scenery, people don't know you there, they're less likely to interrupt you. And then compartmentalizing, protecting your attention and focus, and communicating timelines. So and that could be with yourself, right? Like, how soon are you looking to accomplish that task that you're working on for the day, and be realistic with yourself. So, and then visiting milestone goals. I think this is highly, highly important, is to ensure that if you're setting a milestone for yourself and you're doing this new activity where you're, making sure that you're time blocking, and that could be once a week, once a day for a few hours, going back and revisiting what your ultimate goal was. So, maybe I shared a little bit about how I like to make sure that I close up shop at 6, and then from 6 to 7, I spend time with my family. And then from 7 to 9, I'm working on admin tasks. So, say, for instance, okay, it's been working for me. I'm blocking out that time for my admin tasks. My schedule's working out good. it's good to ensure that I'm reviewing, okay, what has, since I've been doing that activity and blocking out that admin time in the evening, what have I gotten out of it? Am I feeling more refreshed? Am I getting more work done? Am I completing the tasks that I'm assigning myself? And if I am, even if it's, well, I'm getting maybe one or two things done that I wasn't getting done before, maybe I've alleviated some stress off myself. I don't feel as anxious because I'm taking care of payroll in the evening and outside of my business, or I'm taking care of the schedule in the evening and outside of my business. I'm more able to focus. Celebrate those small wins, although you may not think, well, I'm not completing all the 5 things that I said I would during my time block. Even if you're completing one or two, you're progressing. So that's great. And if you're not completing any of them, if you're still feeling that stress and anxiety, then, maybe revisiting that goal and making shifts and changes as needed. Setting boundaries for your time. I think as a small business owner, a business owner in general, it's really hard to set boundaries. Your business is your baby. So a lot of the times it's hard to sign off and end the day and just I think Diana, you posted this on social media, but it's like when you work at a bank, you work 9 to 5. When you work in accounting, you work 9 to 5. When you're a teacher, and so on and so forth. And then when you're a business owner, it's like you're working around the clock. But there's times where you need to take a step back, and if you've given yourself a day off during the week, or if you've told yourself, okay, from at 6 p.m. that's it, I'm not answering any more work calls, do it. It's okay. Because you're by doing that, by setting those boundaries, you're going to avoid burnout. And I will tell you that every business owner, there comes a point where they get burnt out. And I notice this a lot with a lot of the business owners that I connect with on a regular basis, especially when they're in that startup phase. They're really, really excited. And then once they open up their business, they kick off their business, they start getting customers, and they're noticing that they're working extended hours. Their demeanor completely changes. And you can see it. Yes, they're still passionate, but they're tired. So that's super important. And then, setting healthy boundaries between personal and professional time is also important. So if you're an active person and walks in the morning are important to you, continue to ensure that you're focusing that time on walking and not answering work calls, right? Maybe even if it means before you were doing an hour of your walk and now you have to do 30 minutes because business, it requires your attention and your time, then that's okay. But don't stop completely. Encourage yourself to continue to make time for yourself, because that's going to definitely help you with avoiding that burnout as well. And then communicate with others. Talk to your customers, your partners, your employees. Um, you know, Find a mentor that you can vent to. Look for different strategies. I think it's important to talk to your customers for that reassurance of, what do you like about my business? What am I doing well? But also, it's going to help you identify, if you are doing a great job and everything's running smoothly, where you can start to set some boundaries and taking a step back and re-engaging that focus on yourself. And then I think the most important is control your environment to limit distractions. Nowadays with technology, it's so easy to get distracted, to pick up your phone when you're having that, focus time for yourself, and scroll through social media. Before you know it, you're on your emails for your business, you're responding to your customers, or you're checking in with your employees. So, try to avoid, if you're making time for yourself and it's productive for yourself, and it's for you to ensure that you don't have, or you don't get burnt out. Make sure you try to avoid those distractions that reel you back into that stress. And then we're going to talk about how you can eliminate some tasks from your routine. So I talked about delegating. So it's important when you have employees that you're able to identify their strengths. You hire them for a reason. You've invested the time to train them, to develop them. It's okay to start delegating some tasks and to start trusting them. What you do when you do that to an employee is you help them grow as an individual. They're going to feel motivated, they're going to feel needed, and they're going to value you as a leader so much more because they're going to know that you trust them. Make a list of items that take you a long time. So, if payroll is taking you 4 hours a day and you're noticing that you're extremely stressed out, maybe and burnt out by it, maybe rely on one of your employees and see. You'd be surprised. There's different individuals that have different talents. They might be able to complete it in 2 hours. So just identify what employee. Well, first identify, make a list of those tasks that are taking and consuming majority of your time. Then identify a team member that maybe you can start to rely on, that is willing to learn, and it's going to help them grow in their role as well. And then if you're at that stage of your business where you can start to consider maybe hiring somebody. So if it's a task that you're noticing is taking up a lot of hours in your day, it could be maybe orders from your, or completing orders or taking orders from your customers, or submitting inventory, whatever the case is. Maybe you can list different types of responsibilities that are taking and consuming your time, and start exploring how much it would cost you to hire a professional that can help you and focus on that. And then simply stop or cut back. So review your schedule, and then maybe identifying meetings that can be removed or shortened. I think sometimes this happens where, and you don't necessarily have to be a business owner, even it happens in the workplace where you have, calls scheduled, and sometimes you get off the call and you're like, man, that could have been listed in an email. Like, did it really need to take up an hour of my day? So maybe start really looking at the way you're managing your business and your employees, and maybe you can cut back on, if you're hosting calls for your employees or team huddles on a weekly basis, and it's consuming 30 minutes of your time or an hour where you're not getting that much value, then you can start to strategize and figure out, okay, maybe a once a month in-person meeting is more impactful than a weekly call. So just trying to figure out what's working best for you. And then explore efficiencies, so processes and methods, and then seek guidance from friends and colleagues. So if, like I mentioned, if you have a mentor or somebody that's in the same industry as you are, it's okay to seek their advice, and get their feedback on what they're doing and what's working for them and their team as well. So now we're going to go into using technology and how to improve your efficiency with technology. Um, with using technology now, there's so many tools that are out there that can help you develop even a schedule that makes sense for your business. I know the newest one right now is utilizing AI, right? It's as simple as downloading ChatGPT and asking, hey, put together a schedule for me as a business owner that covers these, topics or these things that I want to take care of. And it'll break it down for you, like by the minute, however you want to do it. But definitely identifying what resource is going to be best for you and for your business. And time and project management as well. There's a lot of tools that you can utilize for that. Logistics, your human resources, you can find, you can utilize technology to identify and help support with HR. There's also financial technology you can take advantage of. So, nowadays you don't necessarily need, I know, when businesses were first getting started, you had an accountant. Now a lot of that financial management and you can utilize your financial technology for. So find out what tools work best for your type of industry. And there's also industry specific technology. And by utilizing these tools, it can help you with time management as well. So financial technologies to simplify daily operations would be, for instance, online banking. So managing your accounts online is a big help. You could do this on a daily basis, weekly basis. Remote deposit capture. This is a really neat feature that, maybe you're spending a lot of time physically driving to the bank, or you're having an employee physically drive to the bank and it's taking them 30 minutes to an hour at times, even to make a deposit. Maybe you can start to consider, taking a picture of that deposit if they're checks, or accepting a different form of payment. So if maybe payment processing, accepting credit cards might be an option for you now that as your business is growing, to avoid having you physically have to walk into a branch or a bank location to deposit cash. Um, the next would be, we do also have a system or database, what we call treasury management, where you can grant access to your employees. So if you have an administrator that you'd like to help with managing your accounts, but you want to, have controlled limits, you can grant them access and they're able to help you manage your banking as well, and ensuring, your accounts receivables and payables is on time. This also helps with fraud prevention. So if you are a business that writes checks often, we have a system where you can authorize which checks you'd like to be paid. So that'll help you stay in control of any fraud going on with your account. We also have Deposit Express. If you're a business that receives large checks, for instance, and you're having to take time of your day to go into the branch to deposit every day, or by, every other day or weekly even, we have a system, or your bank. It doesn't have to necessarily be US Bank, but a lot of financial institutions offer a system where you can actually capture, it's a machine that's at your location where you can actually scan your own checks, and it avoids you from having to physically drive out or risk one of your employees having to physically drive out to the bank. Now you're paying them mileage, you're paying them their time, and you're also risking them from being in an accident or anything happening. And then the most important is if you're a business that's sending out wires, ACHs, or external transfers, this database also helps you with doing that. So again, it's going to help with that time, and you're in control of taking care of all of this. So for our workshop today, I hope that we were able to just, like I said, this topic with organizing your time, it's not anything new, right? It's mostly a refresher for a lot of business owners to ensure that you're prioritizing your time and that you are aware of which resources are available to you. That can be with your bank, that can be just seeking the internet and identifying what works best for you. But the most important is ensuring that you're setting goals and milestones and tracking how you're achieving that. And if you aren't, being able to re-strategize your plan. As well as time management tools. I think when we think about time management now, we always think about technology, and it doesn't have to be technology. I talked about listing things on an agenda, on a post-it. I have one of my coworkers, I love this about him, but as he starts his day, every day he sits at his desk and he takes 5 minutes, and you can consider it journaling, but it's really focused on the task that he wants to accomplish for that day. And it could be a list of 2 things, it could be a list of 5. It just, it's what's important for you to conquer on that day. And then that in the middle of the day, he revisits to see what his progress is. And then at the end of the day, he identifies if he needs to focus on that tomorrow, if he was able to complete the tasks. And then it kind of sets that tone for the next day, and it helps you feel like you've accomplished something. And then saving time in running the business. I hope that it was just also a reminder on, there's different tools that you can leverage as a business owner to help you save time in running the business. That way you can be a little bit more behind the scenes, or put your focus, somewhere else. Like maybe it's growing the business at this point. So maybe you could just, save some time with delegating some tasks and focusing on, we talked about, spending more time in the community or marketing your business, or maybe it's, being more active on social media to bring in more clients and tracking that. So at this point, I know we have a very small group with our technical difficulties, unfortunately, but I will open it up to see if anyone has any questions.
Thank you
And
so
then
much.
Diana, I did share the participant guide, and then I don't know if you mind going back to that Business Resource Central slide. That way, if anybody does want to capture sorry, I know you have to go back a few
QR
times.
code, right?
Yeah, the QR code. I love this tool. If you haven't visited it yet, the site, there's so many good trainings on there. There's toolkits that you can even print out for yourself, and they're very interactive. So it's just a good way of thinking about your business and focusing on that area. And then it helps you identify things that that are going to really ultimately help you continue to grow. But it's been a great tool that we've been leveraging recently. So if you would like to visit the site and just take advantage of these free trainings, we don't capture your information and send soliciting emails or anything of that sort. It's really just to provide you education.
Yes, and then I'll also make sure that I screenshot this and send this via email, not only to our participants, but to those who had also registered, but because of our tech difficulties, they didn't all get to make it on.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Liz. We appreciate you. If nobody has any questions, we appreciate all of you joining and taking some time to get this refresher today. Also, a reminder, this will go on our YouTube site. So if you hopped in and didn't get all the details, don't worry. You can go onto our YouTube site and rewatch the whole video. But thank you guys so much. Roberto, is there anything you would like to add?
Yes, I'm actually gonna set some links on here. To avoid that technical difficulty, we are moving on doing direct text to provide you guys with the codes to access our workshops. Additionally, we are also inviting everyone here to our Legacy Awards. They are happening on August 9th. I'm sending forth the invitation so that way you guys can see and join us. And then the other thing about the awards is that we're also taking in nominations up until um, a couple of days, actually by the 29th, no later than 29th. So if you guys know of a small business, nonprofit business leader, a chamber, um, that is going above and beyond, we ask that you guys recommend them to us so that way we can nominate them, so that we can recognize them. And then the last thing I definitely want to talk to you guys about is the Empower Fans, Not Monopolies. And this is another venture that we're jumping on that talks about all of the different monopolies that Ticketmaster is taking on. So I know that there's a lot of people that enjoy going out to events, concerts, etc. What we're doing is that we're fighting to make it affordable. As small business owners, we know that that can take a lot of money away from our investing back into our business, taking care of our families, etc. So this is something that we'd love to hear from you guys. If you know anybody within your circle, please share the link. All of these links are set up through our Instagram on our link tree. And if you guys have any other further questions, please feel free to reach out to Diana directly or myself. We're here to serve you guys. Thank
And
you, Diana.
I kind of wanted to touch back on the Empower Her. We're asking for stories. If you've been through a situation where you purchased concert tickets and then the show was canceled and you couldn't get your monies back, and trying to go through that whole process. We know people who have never received their tickets that they paid for, went to the actual venue and they were of no service, or even just service charges, buying your tickets or getting your tickets in the queue and then going to purchase and seeing like additional fees added on that just don't make any sense. If you have any of these stories that you would like to share, we encourage you to do so. And you can reach out to us or check the link in our bio for that. But again, we want to thank you all for your time. Thank Liz for her time. We appreciate you all, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
one more thing, Diana, before we let everybody off the hook here. Just wanted to share another great resource for mental health. As time comes around, I know that we all need a way to express ourselves, and especially if we have young adults in our household. I shared a link for Saluna, and this is an organization that works with, I believe, 13 to 25-year-olds. Correct me if I'm wrong, Diana. But it's a great way for them to go in there and kind of express themselves, finding a way to coping mechanism per se. And they work in different capacities. I sent the link. You guys can download the app and learn more about it. Thank you guys so much. Diana, the floor is yours.
Thank you all. Have a great evening. Thank you.